Hi, everybody. I am Poop Witch X, and I am joined today with three incredible colleagues and employees at Northwest Center, and I am so excited for today's podcast. My pronouns are she, her, and I would like each one of you to introduce yourselves if that's okay. Anna, why don't we start with you?
My name is Anna Jean, and my pronouns are she, her. Steven?
My name is Steven Davis, and my pronouns are he, him.
Hi, I'm Snejana Gibskaya, and my pronouns are she, her.
Okay, firstly, thank you so much for everyone being here. I'm so honored to talk to you all about Northwest Center and all the incredible work that each one of you do. So I'd like to start with the director of Greenwood Learning Center, Snejana. So close, I can feel it. How long have you been with Northwest Center? And tell us about the Greenwood Learning Center.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having us on the show. I joined Northwest Center in 2015 when I moved to Seattle, and I've loved working at Northwest Center ever since. So we have 7 classrooms with 6 classrooms following kind of the full day care. And then we have the school age program that runs as before and after school care during the year. And then during summertime or other school district breaks, we operate as sort of a summer camp or a full day program for children 5 through 12 years. And Steven is our lead teacher.
Yay! So Steven, how long have you been with Northwest Center?
Yeah, I came in just right before Snejana, actually, in 2015. And yeah, so I feel like we've been there forever and a day, you know? So,
and you're sort of like the boots on the ground because you're the lead teacher for the Greenwood Learning Center. So you're there every day and through the year and through the summer too?
That is correct. Yeah, each classroom usually has a pair, but the school age, I am the sole lead teacher of that room. And yeah, I think the welcome committee, the educator there, and everything, the family point of contact.
Okay. Yeah. And so Anna, we all know Anna in the Poop Coven, but Anna, how long have you been with Northwest Center? Because we just know Anna as, my right hand for the Poop Coven and for stream. So Anna, how long have you been with Northwest Center?
So I have been with Northwest Center actually since June of 2019. And I started weirdly by happenstance in reception. And then now I'm working in the communications department, but also like in the Tiltify Twitch realm as well, which is always so much fun. But my main focus whenever I do campaigns has always just been to love on the kiddos as much as possible, because I think they need tons and tons of attention because they're kiddos and they need attention.
and I think that's what last year when I was first introduced to Greenwood Learning Center, specifically Northwest Center, what I was so amazed with is that even though you have a large amount of children, I feel like you have a good amount of children, you give such catered care. Like each child feels very taken care of, and there's not too many children per adult. Like, what is the ratio for summer camp? Like for how many kids to adults for the summer program?
So it varies, but we try, it depends on whether the classroom is going on a field trip, then they might need a little bit, just more support. But we usually would have 3 teachers and assistant teachers with about 14 children.
Wow. So that's exceptional, because I think a lot of us, I live in New York. I went to school in my classrooms growing up. There was like 38 of us for one teacher usually. So the personalized care that you're all able to give to these children is really profound. So Steven, since we're in the summertime, what sort of activities have you been doing with the kids throughout the summer?
Some of the stuff that we do, we try to run it very summer camp-esque in the summer, while still mixing in some STEM, some education-wise. But we're going on field trips, weekly field trips, and daily. like activities, we'll like, if there's a cooking activity, we'll try to get everyone involved that they can.
I love that.
Or if there's like a STEM activity going on, like science experiments, like let's, try to do some weight activities or something that we can figure out where like keeps the education flowing throughout the summer while building on top of fun.
What kind of field trips are there?
You're being too modest, Steven. I walked in and they were making like these constructions with marshmallows and like sticks.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then they were putting them in Jello and shaking the Jello to see whose construction will withstand the earthquake.
Wow, what a good idea. That's so clever.
They were having so much fun.
Try to push education as much as we can within the limits of each child and, where we're at on, education wise. So yeah, like we'll research what we can do for STEM activities. Yeah, the marshmallow earthquake was one.
What a good idea. That's so clever.
We're building our own Lego vehicles or any kind of vehicle within the classroom.
Legos, nice.
And, like, seeing how you can move it without touching it. So like, can you use magnets to touch it? Can you like put it on something and pull that felt? Or something where you can like think outside the box of just like, oh, we just push a car. Like what else moves vehicles?
Yeah. Steven, you are frozen, by the way, a little bit. Oh, no, now you popped right out. There you are. Okay. I mean, we heard everything you said, but then it was like in freeze frame for a second. That's Zoom for me. And like, I'm still not ever sure what I'm doing. So I was like, is it just me or I'm not sure. So I love that you try to always have like a scholastic focus even throughout the summer. I think that's fantastic. And especially you go up to 12 years old, right? Mm-hmm. So 12-year-olds, when, they have summer work sometimes, summer reading. So it's nice that you are keeping that, but doing it in a fun and very, like child-friendly way, which I think is wonderful. One of the things that Anna and I spoke about for this year for focusing on the Greenwood Learning Center is the field trips, that there's a lot, you guys go on a lot of field trips. What kind of field trips do you do in the summertime?
So it ranges, obviously with the cost of things as well. And having 14 children and, like Snejana said, we're bringing at least 3 or 4 adults with us. So we got to be kind of mindful of like how much money we're spending on things. But like tomorrow we're going to a spray park to like,
fun.
Hot in Seattle.
So hot.
Get wet and have some fun and run around. And like, we'll go to like, museums. A big field trip that we like to plan for and always try to make it out is the Seattle Mariners. We've been to a couple baseball games.
Awesome. Oh, that's really cool. So it really, do you feel like there's a huge tone as a teacher for summer versus during the year? Like you go on, to baseball and, do these kind of things. And then do you feel like in the year it's more sort of structured and that more typical, school energy throughout the year?
I do think the energy changes within the summer to the fall and winter and spring, but yeah, because like as our numbers grow in the summer, we're kind of adjusting to like our socialization and like trying to make sure everyone's getting some kind of like fun tidbits out of it. Because like it's 5 to 12, so the ages range so vastly. Like a 5-year-old is not going to be interested in the same thing as a 12-year-old. So
yeah.
Like keep everyone invested and having fun so no one's feeling singled out or even left out where they don't want to engage.
And I didn't know this actually. So you have all the age ranges in the same classroom for the summer?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll have, oh wow. So that adds a layer as a teacher and for the program, right? To make sure that there feels like everybody's having their needs met throughout the age ranges. So how long have you been a teacher, Steven?
I worked at Northwood Center for, I think we're going on like 7 years now.
Was that your first time teaching?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I got the job as going into my junior year of college. And
okay.
I actually started as an assistant in the school age classroom.
Oh, nice.
And then graduated college and just like kind of, promoted up.
You stuck around. You were like,
yeah. Pre-K room for a couple of years.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah, and like moved up to the school age lead as well. So like it's been great to like, so some of these kids have been there since when I started. So being able to see these children go from 2 to 3 years old all the way up to like 10 or 11, and like building the relationships, and then so you learn them and you learn like what what they're interested in, and like you're talking to parents, you're checking, you know, schoolwork, you're getting IEPs to
Wow.
really know the children. And that's something that it's kind of all hands on deck. That's like when we get a new child, we all sit down. Snejana sits down with the parent, and we have a good, you know, 30-minute hour conversation of how can we, you know, help your child? What can we do to keep them interested? How can we further their education as well?
I think that's a great lead in, Snejana. How do you go about like when the children come to you, how, because I know that when Anna and I talked last year, it's such a high demand program. I feel like everyone wants their child to go to Northwest Center. So how does that work do you have only summer programs, yearly programs? Like what are the kind of things that go into that?
Yeah, so because we also have infant, toddler, and pre-K classrooms, a lot of times when students go to kindergarten, parents will sign them up for before or after school program, and they will continue to be in our center. And so as Stephen mentioned, we could potentially have a child from when they, you know, were born till they turn 12 in our program. And it creates just a really close-knit community, and, you know, families who have, you know, several siblings in our center. And so some of the children come through just being in our program. And sometimes we will enroll, if we have space, we will enroll new children. And, you know, we have a really extensive waiting list. And I guess I should mention that our school age program is the only classroom that is least diverse, I would say, in like inclusion piece, because majority of children during the year will have special needs or delays, partially because it's hard for us to accommodate transportation. So the school district will not transport children to our center unless they have an IEP and it's specified that they have to transport them outside of kind of their school home address. And so it's really hard for us to diversify the classroom and have children who do not have special needs. In all other classrooms, we would have 40% of children who have delays or medical needs, and then 60% of typically or neurotypical children.
Interesting. So is that like a Washington rule, or is that like a universal rule that children can't be bused to and fro?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm like kind of flabbergasted, because you would think that they would set up situations to make things more accommodating for not only for the children but for the parents of the children, because I'm sure that many of your children's parents work full time. That's sort of what the world has come to, where it's almost a luxury to have a parent who's able to stay at home. So it's kind of, that's unfortunate. So do you feel like if that rule was different, you would be able to accommodate even more children, or would you need like a whole other facility to be able to have that happen?
So the demand is huge, and our classroom is only 14 children. We cannot have more. But there's always, you know, conversations about expanding, and right now we don't have the youth program, but you know, bridging that gap between like our pre-K and school age, and then we have school to work and adult services, but there's just a little bit of a gap there that we need to close, because we're like, oh, you're 12 and then come back when you're 14.
Oh, interesting. Can I ask why, like, is it something to do with like how the education flows? Like what makes 13 that age gap from 12 to 14? Like why can't we just keep continuing?
It's licensing. So that is a state like license and regulation. So our classroom is licensed.
This is so fascinating. That's so interesting that like that 1 year is a licensing difference. That's very, very interesting. Oh no, please. No, do not be sorry at all. I hear the little cute noises in the background. I love it. I'm surprised my dogs aren't barking.
The demanding
That's funny. Does your daughter ever go to any of the activities for Northwest Center?
My daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, I have sons. My dog.
Oh, sorry. Oh, your dog. I thought you said your daughter's.
No.
I thought you said your daughter's panting. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's why I was like, oh, I hear like noises in the background. I thought you said. Oh, that makes so much sense. So you've been there, Snejana, for how long again? Oh, now. Wait, what kind of dog do you have, by the way?
Okay.
Now it's a dog show off. Yep.
Now it's a dog. We have to see. I mean, I tried. I mean, but like we can't not see the puppy now.
He's not
puppy wants to be seen.
To be on camera, but
oh my goodness.
This is Jacques.
Jacques?
Yeah.
Jacques.
Oh,
Jacques. Yes.
are you kidding? Oh man. Oof. I need to hold him. And is it a boy?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. He's
Look
so
at that smile.
Look at the smile. Oh, he loves the camera.
I'm
Look
like,
at him.
Steven, where's yours?
It's dog segment time.
Raven, come here.
Yeah,
Should I try to get Mountain Anna? I don't know.
Come here.
Get Mountain
you
Slade.
asked about my daughter, but my son actually did go to school age program.
He did?
So.
Oh, okay. Because I would imagine if I worked in Northwest Center, I'd want to make sure my children, if I could get them to go, because it really seems like that's the way education should be. Like it should be more personalized. It should be where you're catering to a smaller group of children, where the teachers are not overwhelmed and that they're able to give the appropriate amount of attention to each child. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I see that's so special about Northwest Center. Because I have friends who are, public teachers in New York City. I have a friend who works in the Bronx. She's been a teacher there for, I think, about 6 years. She doesn't have a teacher's aide, and she teaches to 30 children, and it's all by herself. And she sees certain kids struggling, but she can't slow the curriculum down. She doesn't have the time or the resources to do so. And I think that's something that Northwest Center does so well, is that you utilize the time and your teaching resources and the tools at your disposal so incredibly well. And so going into that, like, what would you say, either Steven or Snejana, God, I'm so close. I can feel it. It's like every time I say it, I get closer and closer. What would you say some of the best tools you have at Northwest Center are for the kids?
I mean, I can start, our focus really is on social emotional and just making sure that they feel, that they can trust and feel comfortable and they can relax because they focus on academics all day long. And, we're talking about children who might be nonverbal or children who are tube fed or, are in wheelchairs. And so there's a lot of effort when they're getting one-on-one attention and when they come to after school, for example, they just want to feel comfortable, relax, socialize with friends. And we work a lot on making sure that they can make friends and initiate play and take turns and, exploding kitties is like, or kittens is like our favorite game.
Oh, that's cute. Wait, what is that?
It disappears for a while because teachers need a break, I think.
Yes, I think you do. You absolutely do. Hello! The gang's all here.
That's
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for joining us.
From the skate park. So
fun. Oh, well, that sounds like a blast. I forget that you guys are 3 hours behind me because I'm it's 11:30. I'm like, skate park right now. Wow.
8:30.
Oh, wow. So Steven, what would you say are some of the tools that you use for, what would you say some of the tools that you best use as a teacher for your classrooms?
Well, in the classroom, I think just kind of meeting each child where they're at, right? Like approaching each child with the understanding that children think and work in a world totally different than adults. And especially when you're working with neurodivergent children, they're already looked at maybe as different than, a typical developing child.
Right.
So to echo what Snejana was talking about, the social emotional aspect of like, yes, this child may have been in an elementary school classroom where they're all by themselves all day.
Oh, wow.
Or,
that's terrible.
They are in a situation where they're not made to feel great about themselves during the day. So if we can turn their day around and have them looking forward to spending time with children of their own age or of just with people in general, right?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really important to denote that some of these kids, they'll go to school in a school that's really not built to cater to their needs. And then you guys, when they come to you after school, they're then able to get the time and the patience, I feel like. Would you agree with that? Like the patience to be able to give them that specialized care in the after school programs.
I'll tell you, the understanding that, like, as you just said, the world is not built. Like,
no.
It's harsh and it's giving, and like, we can make space. The world will make space. Like, it needs.
Yeah. Oh,
let's start
that's
that.
so
like,
nice.
Why are we waiting for that?
Yeah, and I think that's why it always pains me when Greenwood Learning Center. You said you have 14 children in the classroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, what if it was like 40? It's like, because then I feel like so many children could benefit from programs like yours. What would you say would be the best resources for parents who might be listening to research programs like Northwest Center, and like how would they go about if they have a child who maybe has a disability or a developmental delay of some kind and they don't know where to start? Like where do they start?
Mm-hmm.
Open to anybody.
Well, yeah, depending on the age. So for a school age child, like we said, there isn't, there really aren't a lot of options if it's a child who has special needs. And so we always feel like families are really appreciative of what we do because there aren't that many programs who could even support children who have high allergy needs, for example. So even something seemingly simple as allergies could become a really huge challenge for children and families. And so being the program that can support children and seeing how much there is need for this care, for this kind of care. And that honestly it takes a lot of effort on teachers' part to provide this care, but the adaptations or changes that we're making would benefit anyone.
Yeah.
Right? So they would benefit children who are typically developing and maybe have a different learning style. And that is the beauty of the mission of inclusion, that it allows for anyone to be their unique self, right? And we'll adapt. Like, they don't have to adapt to us. We will adapt the environment. We'll adapt our instruction. We'll adapt our materials. We'll adapt our nutrition. So looking at the world as a community and then supporting those who are in this world.
I think that gave me chills. I think that the fact that you will adapt to the child instead of the child, which always seems like they have to adapt to whatever situation they're thrown into. I think that's probably the most important thing I have seen from Northwest Center, that you all are so willing, and it's like your mission to consciously adapt to each child's needs, which is incredible. So Stephen, do you feel that as a teacher, is that sort of where you would start if you were talking one-on-one with parents about their children?
Yeah, I think that's what I do. Yeah, in the, and like, because parents do, like, children have rough days like adults, and so it comes up quite a bit, like, well, what can we do? Like, what do you think? Like, what are our resources? And like, there's, obviously there's, pamphlets and books and all the reading that you can do, but like, just understanding that children are children.
Right.
Taking this approach that meeting them where they're at is what's important. And like, safely creating a safe space where they can operate within their own bounds is going to make it safer for everyone and make it more productive for everyone.
Right. Anna, do you feel that way too?
Yeah, we're kind of that resource when, at least in my experience, when like me and my brother, when we got our diagnosis and stuff like that, I know a lot of our family kind of went, oh no, there's all these different things that are going to be blockaded off from our children now. And honestly, companies like Northwest Center were the resource for inclusion, not the door slamming in our face. And so that's really what Northwest Center is. It's a resource. It's not a slam door. Like you can constantly go to Northwest Center and go, what can I do? What can I do? They're always going to be there to help you along the way. They're like, no matter what question you have, you can always find somebody at Northwest Center that's going to have some sort of answer for you. And that's what I love. Like, you can like ask anybody, whether it's a front desk person, whether it's communications, whether it's somebody at Greenwood or whatever, and they can go, oh, let me ask so-and-so, and they're going to have an answer for you. And
Right.
like Snejana or Steven is probably like going, yeah, that's pretty much right.
Yeah. There's always somebody. There's always access to information. It's not gate kept. It's not complicated. It's like, hey, you have a question. We will provide you the answer. And I think in the community, they're saying it really is so important that, especially with the range of ages you have, the range of, you know, again, the inclusivity of it. Every child is basically looked at as a clean slate. What are your needs? What are your needs? What are your needs? That communication is so important. It seems like that is important for the teachers to be able to communicate, and then also the employees and everybody who's a team member of Northwest Center to communicate with each other, which is like unheard of. I feel like, you know, for most places, you just don't have that level of like communication between each other so that everyone's on the same page too. Yeah, go ahead, Anna, go.
I was gonna say what's really cool about it also is those kids are like instilled with this idea that it's not just gonna leave them when they graduate and they leave Northwest Center at 12, and when they leave at 14 they go on. The Northwest Center like continues on with them. Like it's not just for the early learning centers, it's also for like career and everything like that. And that's what's really cool. Like they can always come back to it and go, I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to do. Like they can always come back. And that's what's really cool about it. Like they're instilled with the sense of there's always going to be someone there for me from a really young age.
That's so nice. And I think that was something you and I talked about last year, is that you help adults too. Like there are adults who will seek the resources of Northwest Center for job placement and for help with college and stuff like that. It's a bottomless well of resources and aid and help. And I think that's really incredible. And I have some questions coming in through chat. So do you have any issues helping a child, especially ones with severe mental difficulties or physical difficulties? Has there ever been any, something that maybe prevented you from helping? Or is it nothing, we won't be stopped, we will help no matter what kind of situation?
So, I mean, we do have, we try to follow zero expulsion policy. Sometimes our environment is just not the best for the child. And so we have to look at the child and whether or not they're successful in the classroom, and then the classroom overall, and how other children are being affected by everyone who's in the classroom. And so a lot of thought and intentional planning goes into enrollment. We've had children with severe, delays or significant behavior challenges. We've always been able to find ways, through communicating to families, coming up with a plan, sharing resources between their school. So we really try to, find a way to maintain the child in our classroom.
There needs to be flow with not only with the staff with the children, but the children with the other children.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, do you feel as a teacher that if you have an issue arise, do you ever feel like, okay, maybe this child needs a different situation or scenario, or maybe even a different person to talk to, maybe they're more comfortable with somebody else, kind of thing?
Yeah, and I think that's what's kind of great about, the school age classroom and Northwest Center in general. Like, odds are if you're in school age, you've been there for, a year or two. So you kind of
Right.
know everyone and you know all the adults as well. So if we do need someone else to come in and talk to them, or like through partnering and communicating with their their elementary school, like how are we supporting them that the school is not, or what are we doing different, how can we all get on the same page to help the child?
Right. And another question was, do the classrooms ever have any pets, like classroom pets? I feel like that might be kind of tricky because you have such an age range that some kids might really understand the concept of a pet, and like a 3-4-year-old might be like, I'm going to squeeze this hamster really hard, and maybe not quite grasp that. So is that something that you ever have as class pets?
Yeah, we have some fish right now.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's a good pet for a classroom, I think.
Yeah, they love it.
Yes.
They all picked out some names. They drew names, and we had about like 100 names in a jar.
Oh, wow. What were the names that they got chosen?
Some of the Star Wars was very big when we first got ours, so there was a lot of like Darth Vaders and Lukes and Skywalkers. But I think we settled on I think we have Squid Launcher, Flash.
So clever. When in doubt, have a child name your pet. They'll come up with the coolest name. Squid Launcher is the coolest name I've ever heard for a classroom pet. That's amazing. So kind of talking about, in the classroom, and where do you see like Northwest Center in general, but the Greenwood Learning Center going? Like, what is the future? And I'd like maybe a response from each one. Where do you hope to see it grow to? Anna, do you want to start?
Gosh.
I saw you. I felt like you wanted to say something, so I was like, all right, Anna, I'm gonna grab you first.
I'm like, I would love to see the Greenwood location get a bigger building. That's my dream.
A bigger
honestly.
building, facility space.
Yeah. I know. I wish that the building that they're in is a shared space right now. Steven's like, yep. It's a shared space right now, which we're very happy with the people that we share it with. It's a wonderful organization that we share it with. But we need more space. Teachers need more space to spread out. And I think that we could help so many more kids if we had more space. And that's just my dream, is I wish that we could help more kiddos. I always just envision a world where we're touching more kids and able to help change more lives for these kiddos. So you can't do that without access and having more space.
Got it. Okay.
Next.
Anyone want to go next?
No, I agree with the fact that we need to expand. We would love to either expand into some sort of like a larger summer camp and have it as an outdoor program. We always think about partnering. They're amazing organizations that have similar mission, like Outdoors for All, that provide, horseback riding and different adaptive bicycles.
Oh, nice.
And so it would be really neat to have more partnerships and connect some of the resources, and expand, like as Anna and Steven mentioned, just have more families that, because the need is definitely there.
Okay. Steven?
Yeah, I'm just going to echo off of that. I think, if we were to expand, that would be amazing. But then, also that comes with like having more children, right? Like the reach just keeps going and going, and just like, touching more families, helping more students who, maybe are on a wait list somewhere where we can just like turn that around for them. And
How
long is the wait list, if you don't mind asking?
Well, it varies. It's like, our collective for all the ages at Greenwood, it's over 1,000 children. It kind of fluctuates because a lot of times we'll call and the family already found care because they've been on the waiting list for so long.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, I
my.
also feel that we could also be a resource to other organizations, and if we can't expand, physically, we could expand in sharing our knowledge or our resources with other organizations. So
Wow,
we
that's a
have
good
a
idea.
similar program called Impact for our pre-K classrooms, where we could go into centers that serve pre-K children and work with teachers and mentor them.
Wow.
And it would be great to expand that with our school age program as well. Lots of
I think that's such a
ideas.
good idea. That's a really good idea. Because another question is Northwest Center affiliated with any particular public or private school directly, or is it that it's always sort of a separate entity? So it sounds like you are a completely separate entity, but you want to do something sort of bridging, like a slightly in the middle of that. Like maybe you can't come at our center, but we'll provide this location our resources and tools. Is that sort of where you can see it going?
So we actually do both. We provide services. We employ people with special needs. We have aides in our centers that have job coaches and goals. Losing my train of thought, I need to quickly get back.
No, you're totally fine. Well, I think my question is like, I think it'd be amazing if Northwest Center could like go into a public school and be like, we'll provide an after school program in your school. So they'll have the facility, but you guys will have the real teachers with the real deal knowledge and the resources behind it. Is that something you could see
would love
it going?
that. Yeah, I would love partnerships like that.
So
That would be amazing. Steven, would that be something you're interested in? Like, would you do something like that where you would
That would be next level. That's kind of the dream, right? To like
right?
that, like, yeah, that would be.
That's awesome. I could totally, I know for a fact that as somebody who, I did a lot of after school activities growing up. If there was something like Northwest Center, I would do your Jello marshmallow thing right now. I mean, like, I think that sounds amazing and creative. And I really think that your facility, the way you help children could be applicable for neurotypical children, and honestly, really anybody. I feel like anybody could enjoy the options that you all provide, which is amazing. And everyone is shocked that 1,000 children are waiting to potentially be a part of Northwest Center, which is a lot of children. But it's also to note, when you have the age groups move to the next age, do you pool from the next age group down, or do you always bring in more students? Like, do you always add in more children each year?
To the waiting list or to the classroom?
To either.
So our waiting list is just automatic. Parents could submit through our website and add any child to our waiting list. And then we give priority to children who are enrolled in our program. So if a family of a pre-K student who's going to kindergarten would like to join after school program, we will try to accommodate, because we try to support families who are already part of our mission.
Okay. So, and I remember for last year, does Greenwood Learning Center only do preschool to 12?
We do infant toddler as well. So we have 6 weeks to 12 years.
That's what I was trying to say. They do the infant to 12 as well.
Okay, but we focused on infants last year. Okay, got it. So we focused on the infant ages last year. That's why I thought that it was like two different. So you do all the ages in Greenwood Learning Center. Wow, that is really, really impressive. Yeah, you do. So
we'll start at 6 weeks and go all.
So, oh wait, Stephen, you're muted. Wait,
No,
I heard you. We go
It starts
6
at
weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah.
Stephen, you don't do the infants though in your classroom. You handle mostly the 5 to 12.
So Stephen doesn't have infants in the school age classroom, but because our program, you know, when school age children are not in the classroom during the school year, Stephen fills in other classrooms as
wow.
assistant, so he could be with babies
Wow.
during the day, and then in the afternoon, as the buses start bringing school-age children to our center, then he transitions and opens the school-age classroom. So
wow.
he
does
works
it
in
all.
classrooms.
Wow. Stephen, do you have a preference on what age you prefer to have in your day-to-day, or are you like, I'm open to any of the children's ages?
I think working at Northwest Center kind of opens you up to all of them because you find something in each classroom where you love.
Yeah.
Whether it be the children or like collaborating with the teachers.
Right.
But being in the school age, that's where I started. So that was like my first love. But then also, I mean, I'm a big fan of pre-K. I was a pre-K lead for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I spent
Okay.
a lot of time with them.
That's a fun age. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what exactly, another question from chat, what exactly would it take to expand into and provide services for the public schools and private schools like we were discussing before? Would it just be more fundraising and more, you know, funds in general? Or would it be like you need to hire more teams, which like what kind of would go into that?
There's some partnerships that are currently already formed between, you know, school districts and other providers. So I think it's just, you know, competition. We don't necessarily provide services for, you know, specifically for children with special needs. So they could say that they cannot accommodate for a child, for example, and then the family would still have to find another childcare. So you know, that's why we were saying that it would be great to expand our knowledge and support educators, you know, in school districts as well, so that everyone could accommodate for every child.
Right. Has Northwest Center, the Greenwood location, or any part of Northwest Center, has anyone ever hired one of the previous Northwest Center kids who've gone through the program from whatever age until adulthood? Yes?
Yeah, so we have currently, we have one of the aides who works at our downtown learning center. She went to Northwest Center as a baby, and we have a photo of her as a baby. And
oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh, and Stephen, since you've started, you probably have seen kids come from infant all the way up to 12, or, you know, 5 to 12. You've seen them, and they've, as you've grown up sort of with, and you were in college when you started with Northwest Center, so now you're kind of like growing with these children at the same time, which is really cool.
That's what's amazing about where, kind of my journey with Northwest Center is, because I started, like, children I have now, I've known them for the whole time I was there. Like, building the family relationships and the connections that you get is just, I mean, it's remarkable, and it's just so, there's nothing else. And
so, please go.
A pre-K teacher who was a student at Northwest Center right now at Greenwood.
Really? Oh, I think that's probably, especially because so many of your children probably feel so safe there, that when they're 18, they're like, I would like to come work here because I feel really safe and comfortable, and I know the environment, and I think it's wonderful you hire within your own bubble. I think that's really, really incredible. So, as we're getting closer to the end, I wanted to ask each one of you, what is your favorite memory or experience, or some part of, you know, your experience with Northwest Center? What was your favorite one, if you can pick just one?
That's a good, you have one? Victor has one. My son has one. Okay, go.
What's yours?
Okay. So this was at recess. At recess. Oh my Lord, I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. Oh my gosh. Don't be nervous. Okay. Don't be nervous. Nobody's even nervous here. It's just us. It's just us. We're just hanging out.
Okay, it's not really like a memory with it's not really a memory with the school.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say it. It's more like, I don't know. I'm just so nervous.
Oh, well, did you, Did you ever use like the tricycles and bicycles at recess? I used to use those when I was in like preschool, and I remember how much fun they were. Did you ever use those?
I did. Actually, my mom just brought up something. Me and Steven, he used to be one of the teachers, or just someone who went in my class. Yeah, an assistant. And me and him would always arm wrestle.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you kick his butt? I feel like you kicked his butt.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Steven.
Took a lot of losses those years.
Any kid who does skateboarding, is pretty tough. So, I have also done skateboarding. Please make sure you like guard your elbows and stuff. I am so clumsy. Oh no! See what I'm saying? I knew it. I knew it. I feel that pain. No, let me tell you something. I used to skateboard when I was little. It's almost impossible. I used to get bruises around my knee pads. Like, I don't even know how that's possible. Yeah, you can hurt yourself in any way, like in every way. Don't worry, I know. But no, he's a cool guy. I love how Chad's like, he's awesome.
Okay.
So, Steven, was that your favorite memory too? Was arm wrestling? Or do you have another one you want to share with us?
We definitely kept tally of who was winning. That was, I think it might have been like 1 to 15, where I would take 15 losses to each my one.
Got it. You got a couple in.
I had to relish them. They came few and far between, but yeah.
So, what other than the arm wrestling would be like one of your favorite experiences with Northwest Center?
I think just seeing the children grow up, right? Like whether they're typical developing and neurodivergent or whatever it is, like just seeing them flourish and being there, being able to scaffold and push and help when they need it, and also being helped as a person for myself in my life. Like Northwest Center has changed my life in ways that I don't even know.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that makes me so happy. I think that's wonderful that you have such passion for where you work, and that it seems like you obviously made an impression on, I feel like all the children that you've gotten to work with, which is really incredible. And I hope that when I was growing up, I had teachers who were wonderful and I had teachers who weren't wonderful, but I always remember the ones who are wonderful. They make a huge mark, a lasting impression, Oh my goodness. Jacques, right? That was the name, right?
That was Jacques.
Jacques. Oh my! I was like, all I saw was Fluff coming in, and I couldn't. I was like, is that the same Fluff as before? Yeah. Anna, what was your favorite experience? Oh my God, so cute. Jeez. Sorry, Jacques is stealing the show. Sorry, Anna.
I was like, Jacques. My favorite experience from working at Northwest Center. Oh goodness, there's been a lot. I mean, am I biased to say last year's campaign though?
Oh man, that was wild. That was wild.
Biased?
Yeah.
Maybe biased?
You can be biased. I saw it. I was there. It was hardcore. It was crazy.
I mean,
well, you facilitated that everything, because I live on the East Coast. I never heard of Northwest Center. I obviously personally didn't have access to it because I'm literally across the country. And Anna found our community, and I was doing charity events, and Anna was like, hey, I love you, but like, by the way, I also work for a charity in Washington. I was like, oh my gosh. And I wouldn't have known. So actually, Anna opened up the world for Northwest Center on Twitch, because I think last year was the first ever campaign, right, on Twitch. And now it's our second year, and I know Anna has done campaigns with other fellow streamers of mine as well. So like, the world hopefully will keep getting bigger, and I hope that Northwest Center can keep helping and thriving. It really is an amazing organization. And everyone I've met has been so wonderful.
Thank you for hosting us, and
thank you for being
back and highlighting more of our programs. I didn't realize that you were on the East Coast, so
yeah. So
great.
we're huge fans of Northwest Center now. I think that everyone, and honestly, so much of our community is based in the West Coast anyways, that it really, I think it lends itself to having more people discover. And honestly, I know Anna and I talked about this. I would love it if Northwest Center came over here. It's expanded to the East Coast.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Snejana wants to move to New York.
Oh, please come.
I actually love living here, so I'll come visit.
Come visit. Everyone come visit. Well,
Snejana can set it up. She'll set it up and then move.
I'll raise money for it. I promise. That will be the deal.
Balancing our strengths.
Yes. So I just want to say again, thank you all three of you for taking the time out to be here to shine even more light on the blinding, beautiful light that is Northwest Center. I'm so honored for each one of your time. And we right now, I know the Poop Coven is watching. We are, I think, at like almost $17,000 raised for Northwest Center. We're very close, and we also have today, Friday, and Saturday to close out this campaign. So we'll see what last year we did. I don't even know, Anna. What was it? Like something scary.
$42,072.
So I just gulped. So we'll see where we end up this year. But any dollar going towards Northwest Center is a dollar that I think is going to a very good place. So thank you so much for all of your time, and let's see what happens. Thank you so much. I'm Poop with Jax. This was the team at Northwest Center, and we'll see you maybe next year.